Welcome back to another episode of Mysterious Huntsman Podcast. Tonight I've got my good friend AJ from London to come on and tell us some of his stories. AJ is a paranormal investigator and gets to go to these amazing places over there. So let's sit back and welcome AJ into the Mysterious Huntsman Podcast. Hey, good evening, AJ. This is Paul with the Mysterious Huntsman Podcast. How are you doing?
I'm doing really well. It's just gone 9:30 over here in England, so everything's fine today. It's a Friday, so it's the weekend.
You know, that's exactly what I was thinking driving home in terrible rush hour traffic, because it's 3 o'clock or 3:30 here in Nashville, and man, traffic's awful. But all I could think about was Friday. But man,
exactly.
Thank you so much for coming on the show, and I know you've got some really cool stories for us, and you are a paranormal investigator in England. Is that correct?
Yes, that's what I do. I investigate the paranormal, also into cryptids and UFOs, but more paranormal.
All right. Well, yeah, AJ, so if you don't mind, tell us a little bit about what got you started into this field, and then if you want to go into some of your best cases, or we can just start taking things apart, unpacking them, and we'll see where it goes.
Yeah, sure. Basically the same as any paranormal person. They've watched the TV programs, and then they found someone that's investigating a team that sells tickets or something like that, and they go off. That's how I started. It was coming up to my birthday, and me and my sister didn't know what to do for my birthday, so we just said, let's go on a paranormal investigation. So we found someone, ended up going to the Ragged School in East London, which is an old Victorian school for children that didn't have a lot of money, so hence the Ragged School name.
Right.
So that was the first investigation, which was very quiet, but I'm sure that I got poked in the back when I upset the children by complaining that they weren't doing anything. I was standing in the middle of the room, and I got a poke right around where my kidneys are, and it was a poke. There was nothing behind me. I was away from all the walls, and I have no way of explaining it. Just one of those weird things that happened to me.
Right. And, you know, it's kind of, a lot of people, they watch these TV shows, which, you know, the TV shows have brought this to the forefront, the paranormal.
Yeah.
But, I mean, they think that anyone can go out and just in one night and experience this stuff, whereas you and I both know it may take night after night or day after day. It takes hours.
I mean, definitely. I mean, I've been on some investigations where it's been so quiet, you wouldn't even think the places should even be on a supernatural map, you know.
Right.
People have got stuff there. It just happens that you're there at that time. I mean, it's not always like these TV shows where everything happens all at the same time. It's
right.
Never like that. So, I mean, as you say, you can go for hours without anything happening. Then you might get 5 minutes of intense stuff happening and then nothing again. So it's one of those waiting games. I'm sure that anyone that's been on a paranormal investigation knows that.
Exactly. I know a team and I went to an old mental hospital here, and we probably went three nights, not in a row, but we went 3 nights without anything. And I was thinking about not going back, I guess the third night. And then the after the third night, the next morning reviewing the audio, that's when I got my first EVP, and I thought I was going to throw up. I mean, it was it scared me so bad. I was like,
they are just weird, aren't they? Because you just like, I didn't hear anything, and then you get all these weird voices and noises on your EVPs, and it just creeps you out. Thinking, well, that must have been right next to me or something like that, you know. But it's all cool.
Yeah,
Well, I think it is anyway.
no, it is, and once you get started, it's a passion, and you just kind of keep digging in and going back for more.
Exactly.
No matter.
Exactly. You just want to. You get that withdrawal symptoms that you just want to keep going out there and doing more.
Right. Now, what is? I know you probably have several investigations under your belt, but are there any that you that stand out? That really spectacular evidence that you've captured?
The main one that I can always think of, and I always tell everyone the same story, and even now I cannot work out how this happened. We was at Balance House in Essex, in England, and up in the attic, I got because I'm a teetotal, so I don't drink. I got 2 breaths of stout alcohol in my face, and where it came from, it smelled like someone had drunk the day before, not brushed their teeth.
Right.
So it was really strong in my face, and where that came from, I do not know. We couldn't find anything that could have made that smell in the attic, apart from someone breathing. So that just, really freaked me out. It's like, where does that come from?
Right. Yeah, and
so,
and people,
especially for alcohol, for me, because I'm teetotal, it was just so strong. It was really weird.
Yeah, and you hear that a lot. You'll hear people claim they'll smell alcohol, they'll smell perfumes, they'll smell cigarette smoke, and it all.
Yeah, we've had.
No, go ahead.
Yeah, we've had perfume and all sorts of stuff like that, strange smells, But yeah, where they come from, they come and then they just go again, and then they come back again. So it's as if there's a spirit of some sort walking around.
Yeah, it's, and some people are of the thought that is this an actual intelligent haunt, or is it a residual haunt where, is it some kind of, maybe it's not supernatural? Is it some kind of or I can't think of the right word, the geological, something that's causing an imprint of history or an imprint in time to replay itself? And
I know what you mean. Yeah, is it the stone tape theory, they say?
Yeah, absolutely.
Where it just keeps replacing itself, and they say a lot of haunted places lay on the the ley lines, and which is bringing up, and the ragged school where I went to, that's right next to a river, so, and they always say that flowing water helps,
right,
paranormal to build up and everything. So there's a lot of theories behind it. We're still scratching at the surface, obviously, trying to figure out what's causing all this. I don't know everything, so I'm not claiming I do, but that's why we're there, to investigate and figure this all out.
Right. Maybe guys like us will pave the way. I know as the years, pass us by, technology gets more and more advanced. So maybe we're helping to pave the way, to someone will actually figure this out one day, maybe.
Probably not in our lifetime, but then we'll be the ones haunting them.
It's very possible, I guess. So,
yeah.
What else have you had any EVPs, or what's your electronic voice phenomenon, or any photographs?
I've had a couple of moans, very light moans though, but nothing real voice or words. So that's the thing that I've got to keep on trying to get. That's my main thing, or either capture something on camera, which would be, it's more personal things that I've had. So the other things are coming along, I hope.
Yeah, and a lot of times, the way I like to do it is actually more personal. Sometimes I don't like to take in a lot of equipment or a lot of
no.
Because
smaller groups are always the best.
Yeah, absolutely. I think so. And even some of the older style equipment, like the dowsing rods or the pendulums, or maybe something a little old school, and just base it on personal experiences, like you said.
Yeah, very much so. I have heard that the more technological that the microphone is, it's less chance of picking stuff up, but I'm not sure if that's true or not. I always thought that better microphones pick up other stuff. But who's to say?
Well, yeah, and I know a lot of people that use these fancy, super sensitive digital recorders now, but a lot of the old school people still like to use the cassettes, the micro cassette with the actual magnetic tape. They tend to think that it transfers to the magnetic tape better, I guess, if you're actually in some kind of
that's what I've heard too.
Yeah, so who knows, man? I know it's interesting. And I was going to ask you, have you ever heard of something over there? I don't know exactly what area, but it's called the Dodleston Papers.
No, I've not heard of that.
Or yeah, I would, when you get a chance, or I may send you a link on that, look up the Dodleston Papers, and it's someone, a couple moved into a cottage, and then weird things started happening, and they started getting messages, and this was back in the 80s, I guess, or late 80s, when they had an older computer, and a lot of the messages started coming over the computer, and then they claimed that they were being contacted by someone back, over there in like the 17th century. And it wound up, it's a big, long story, and I'm going to mess it up if I try to say it, but just remember the Dodleston Papers. It's a very cool story about possible either time slips or time travel or, something along that lines. It's a very cool twist on what could be going on in the, it's kind of, they tried to document it as this isn't a ghost. We're being contacted by someone in another time dimension or another parallel universe. So like the people in the 15th century were experiencing something the same time as someone in the 20th century. So it was kind of it was kind of colliding, and just I'll send you a link on that. It's very cool, and I'm not sure.
Yes, please do. It sounds weird and wonderful.
Yeah, it does. And so you were, how do you like to go about? I mean, I know everyone has their own process. What do you do when you first get on scene, or when someone asks you to come investigate a haunting?
We usually turn up. We walk around and do our little tests on our equipment, and then we usually go. I really don't one of those people to look up to find out what it's all about. I would rather get there, not know much about the place.
Yeah.
And then if I can pick up on any experiences, and then it's told to me, then I think that's more valid than reading up about the place, and because then you're expecting something to happen of that sort. So I'd rather not read up about the place, and as I say, if anything happens and you can validate it against some history or something, then I think that's a lot better for the paranormal community.
Yeah, absolutely. I totally agree. And so you don't go in there with any kind of preconceived notions, or it's like if someone catches an EVP, and if you have to tell someone what they're hearing, they'll hear it. It's like
exactly. Yeah.
It's almost like a power of suggestion kind of deal. I would rather listen to this myself and try to, like go in a different room, and I'll come back and confer with someone. But yeah, I totally.
Definitely. I think that's the best way to do it, because otherwise, if it's like when you're watching a paranormal program and they play one of their EVPs, but they put the subtitle up of what it's saying.
Yeah.
You don't need that. I mean, I'd rather try and work out what they're saying. You can tell me after. I don't need subtitles.
Right. No, I agree.
So yeah.
Well, what you said you were kind of into the cryptid field also. Now I know.
Oh, that goes.
I know
that goes way back.
Yeah, I know. Over here in the U.S., we have tons of the crypt. Well, our main cryptid, I guess, would be Bigfoot or Sasquatch. Is the main focus over here. But you guys have a couple of different things, like the big cats, the possible dogmen or werewolves, and then
and also obviously Nessie up in Scotland.
Yeah, yeah.
But yeah, there's been the strange dogs on the moors and the big cats and everything. Yeah, I mean that goes way back. See, we had a animal act that came in, Dangerous Animal Act. I think it was in the 70s, because people would just walk down the streets with lions and tigers. People just laugh at me when I tell them that until I show them a picture of them walking down a London High Street with a lion on a leash or something like that.
Oh wow!
So I think it was in the 70s the Dangerous Animal Act came out, so people couldn't have those as pets, and supposedly some people let them go, whether they did or not. Well, that's basically the story behind the big cats on the moors and stuff like that.
Yeah, it's always fascinating. I mean, I know I was a big Sherlock Holmes fan, or Arthur Conan Doyle fan, but the Hound of the Baskervilles. Yeah.
Yes, most definitely. Yeah.
And they touched on that in there, but yeah, you guys, or wherever you're at, I'm not sure where you are, but yeah, you've got a long history of the large hellhounds, or the dogs, and especially the cats.
Yeah.
But the
definitely.
whole werewolf lore came from Europe, in that area, and then I guess spawned off Bigfoot and Dogman or whatever else that we have over here. So have you got to do any?
You have all the best cryptids over there. See, we don't have a lot over here. You have all the best ones. But I mean, that started years ago when VHS was out. I watched. What was it? Boggy Creek.
Yeah, Legend of Boggy
years
Creek.
Ago. Yeah, and that's where it all started from back then. Watching that one, like when I was a teenager on VHS video,
Yeah.
So that's where my cryptid sort of thing comes from. So yeah, that was way back.
Yeah, that's exactly the show that got me started too. And then,
cool.
Of course, move into the 70s and then or late 70s, and I got Close Encounters of the Third Kind, which totally threw me into the UFO field. But
yeah, and I remember there was I think over here it was called Project Blue Book, but I think over there it was called something Project UFO.
Yeah.
Which is basically, well, we used to have that over here. That used to be on. I used to come home from school and watch that in the early evening. So we used to have that as well. As you say, Close Encounters.
Yeah, I loved that show you're talking about. It wasn't black and white, but it was barely color. It looked like, and it was narrated by Jack Webb, who did Dragnet over here, and I hung on to every episode of that, and now History Channel has a newer version, Project Blue Book, and
I've been watching that one as well. Yeah,
it's very good.
I know. And it was nice to see. Actually, in Close Encounters, there was the guy from Project Blue Book, wasn't there?
Right.
Made a guest appearance.
Yep, J. Allen Hynek.
Hynek, was it?
Yep, Hynek.
Yeah. Right near the end when the mothership comes along.
Yeah,
I found that quite cool that he was actually in there.
Yeah, and the one of their, I forget the guy's name on the show, but he was the French. I forget his name, but they patterned him.
Oh yeah, I know the guy you're saying.
Man, I hate that I can't think of his name, but they patterned him after a very famous ufologist. UFO, I can't even talk. But Jacques Vallée is a very well-known ufologist, and they patterned the Frenchman characters on Close Encounters after his life.
Well, that's something I didn't know.
Ah.
So you got me on that one. Always learning.
Well, I don't have a life, so I read too much and watch too many sci-fi movies. So, no, but
well, that's like, yeah.
No, but you were talking about the legend of Boggy Creek. I spoke with, you may know the name, Lyle Blackburn. I had him.
I have his books.
Yeah, he's a very cool, very nice guy, and I spoke with him the other night. And he's done a lot of books and documentaries focusing on that Falk, Arkansas, or the Legend of Boggy Creek area. And He's actually, I don't know if I can make it down, but he's going to be close by me tomorrow at a Bigfoot convention in Alabama. I may try to make it down there and just actually meet him in person. But he's a very nice guy, very knowledgeable. He's got a lot going on in the cryptid world, so that's pretty.
Yeah,
cool.
yeah, I do follow him on Instagram, so keeping up with all his info, seeing what he's up to.
Yeah, do you guys have like any major? Which I'm moving toward another topic, which is one of my favorite topics. But do you guys have any like really popular cryptid shows over there that we don't get, or any paranormal shows?
None at all that I would probably know. Not cryptid, because we always get all the American shows,
Okay.
like Finding Bigfoot and all that lot. So that's what we get over here. So, same with the paranormal programs. It's mainly American ones. We have a few English ones like Help My House is Haunted and stuff like that, but it's mainly the American stuff that we get over here.
Okay. Well, the reason
we get no cryptid programs over here.
Yeah,
apart from what we get sent across, so, but there's none that we actually produce ourselves.
Yeah. Well, I need to visit. I need to come over there, I guess, and maybe we can start our own show or something over there. It'd be very, very fun.
That'd be cool. It'd probably, go up in flames, but it'd be fun doing it.
Well, hey, it's something to try and say you did for a little while. I mean, and I've been approached before for a couple of different shows or get my ideas on stuff. I've talked with some producers, and it's at the end of the day, to me, it's about still finding the truth. I don't care if I have TV show, fame, fortune, whatever. I mean, I've hunted this stuff since I was a kid, and I've always questioned it. I've always researched it, always looked for it. And to me, it's something that's driving me. I've got to find out the truth to this. And
it's that ever going passion to find the truth, isn't it?
Yeah.
The fame I don't care about that. I just want the truth. That's what I need.
Right. Yeah, absolutely. And
so,
I feel bad for a lot of the guys that are the same way that, like a few of the bigger researchers that have passed recently or in the past years. They've passed. Maybe they know the truth now, or maybe they never. Maybe they don't. Maybe they, died and didn't get a chance to see or hear anything that would validate their claims. I mean, we just lost Stanton Friedman, who was a big ufologist here.
Exactly. Yeah.
And Rosemary Ellen Guiley, she was a big paranormal investigator and also into cryptids and stuff. I mean, we're just Lorraine Warren. I mean,
yeah, another great.
But who knows? They may know everything now. We don't know.
That's the unknown answer, isn't it? Will we know?
Yep.
So.
Well, but I know, you guys. I know we have a lot of UFO stuff over here, but you guys also have your own stuff, and it's really cool. I just spoke with Jim Peniston a few weeks ago, and we were talking about the Rendlesham Forest incident, which is one of my favorite UFO stories.
Which is probably the most. Or they call it the UK Roswell, as they call it over here in the news.
Yeah, that's it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
The explanation for what they say they saw, like a lighthouse, it's just ridiculous. Yeah. It wasn't a lighthouse. Come on. How can a lighthouse fly around trees? Come on.
Right.
It's just, you saw a lighthouse beam. No, we didn't, It's just, and then they're basically saying that the US Army people that were there are liars, basically. So I'm really on the side of the people that were there, actually. I'm sure they saw something. And it was over 2 nights. It wasn't just like a single viewing of anything. So that's the weird thing.
Right. And even I think one of the base commanders had the second night of the encounter on audio tape, and you can hear
Yeah, I've heard that many times. Yeah.
You can hear the confusion, and I'm sure. I mean, they're military; they were holding it together, but you could hear a little bit of fear in their voices and the unknown.
Most definitely, yeah.
So, and Sergeant or retired Sergeant Peniston told me that it was just absolutely incredible, and one of the still to date, obviously, one of the craziest things that's happened to him. And he went into detail, and he's got a very good book out now called The Rendlesham Enigma. And it's super detailed. And, for someone to go into that kind of detail and can speak about this without flaw or without stumbling, it's something happened to these guys. And I don't know what, but it was an amazing account.
Yeah, I've heard the tape of him as they go in towards whatever they're seeing, and as you say, you can hear the fear, and it doesn't sound fake in slightest way. No matter what, if you listen to it, you can hear the fear in that man's voice and confusion. You just do not know what he's seeing. Yeah,
exactly. Now, have you ever witnessed anything like this, or have you ever had a UFO encounter?
I've never had a UFO encounter. That's the one thing. I mean, you see lights in the skies, and you have to, they're probably either satellites or something, but nothing that I can definitely say is a saucer or craft of anything. So that's the one thing I haven't seen.
Right. Yeah, I'm on the fence. I want to see, but I've seen
I think we all do.
I've seen a couple of things that that are really weird when I try to dissect them, but at the time I'm thinking this cannot be what I'm looking at. But when you go back and process it, I've probably had a few little weird encounters that I can't explain, but I kind of keep pushing them off and trying to keep my mind on a practical or scale, or I try to go with Occam's razor, whatever the most simplest, whatever the most simplest explanation is the explanation. But I know that it's also Occam's razor is also skewed because that wasn't ever really dealing with supernatural or paranormal. So
no, it's it's an odd thing, the UFO sightings and everything. It's something that I'm really into. I watch loads of documentaries and programs, and it's something I should look more into, I think. As we were saying before we came on air, that I think that the paranormal, the cryptids, and the UFOs are all bunched into the same group of things. There's something there that we all need to figure out, and we could help each other, in different ways.
Right. And, we were talking about that, how we tend to think that it may be all connected. Now, why do you think, or how do you connect the dots with these? Or what makes you think some of these could be connected with each other?
I've only heard this, but I'm not sure if it's true or not, but there's a lot of cryptid sightings around where there are UFO sightings.
Right.
I don't know if you've heard that theory before. So I think that's coming into it a lot more now. And also I've heard that, a lot of places that are got paranormal interest have also had cryptids there. So especially I've heard like a lot of Sasquatches hang around in cemeteries, which is, I don't know if that's true or not, but it sounds rather strange to me.
Yeah, it does. And I know over here we have something called a dog man, which I don't know if they're talking about, or I don't know if they're equating that with a werewolf or whatever. But they have a dog man that's it's bipedal. The claims are that it's bipedal and it's got a long snout. It looks like a dog, and it hangs around cemeteries a lot. So I have heard that before over here, but it's very bizarre.
Yeah, I think I read a book that a lady wrote about the dog man. I can't remember her name.
Was it Linda
Is
Godfrey?
it Linda something? There we go. Yep, that's her.
Linda Godfrey.
Yep.
Yep.
I read her book one of her books about the dog man.
Yeah, she's got a few out, and I just picked up her latest one. It's in another part of the house, but it's called I think it's called I Know What I Saw, and I'm actually I'm actually going to be speaking with her, I think, next week. So it'll be interesting. I want to get her take on. After I finish the book, I'm going to have her break down some of her favorite stories on that, and just get her firsthand account, firsthand take on some of this stuff. But she's pretty incredible.
Yeah, her book was really good, and yes, people should read into these sort of things, because there's definitely something there, and we need more people investigating these things to help us all out.
Right, and I was going to say, I don't know how we have a lot over here that call in and tell us their stories, but what's surprising is a lot of the people are like your professional trained observer. I mean, like law enforcement or your conservation officers, your doctors, your airplane pilots. I mean, you have hundreds of credible people telling these outrageous stories that they ran into, an 8-foot tall hairy man in the woods, and they really believe what they saw, or they were attacked by a demon or a ghost, or airline pilots that saw an aircraft. They're seeing something, and they're coming forward, and that's what gets me. You can't discount these thousands of statements by these witnesses.
Oh, definitely not. No, there's something there, but people are trying to just bypass it as folklore, and I don't know, lights in the skies are always, I don't know, weather balloons or fog gas, it's just stupid things like that. So they never get, and as you say, policemen, they're trained to observe stuff, If they're seeing something flying through the sky that's V-shaped with lights on that shouldn't be there, then it's definitely there. Right. They've got their jobs to look. As you say, a lot of Air Force pilots don't come out of it for fear of losing their jobs. So how many, haven't said anything that we just don't know about?
Right, and I've gotten a few emails from airline pilots that, I appreciate them telling me their story, but they just asked to remain anonymous, and they didn't want to come on the show, but they thought, I should hear their story, and I totally get it. I mean, if they were to tell their story and come out and open, they would be grounded,
Exactly.
But yeah, man, something's going on out there, and I'm glad people like you are out there and just kind of on the front lines and are putting boots on the ground and digging in and researching this stuff, because the more that
you need to put your boots on the ground. I mean, you're not going to find a ghost just sitting on your settee, and unless you actually live in a haunted house,
Right.
You need to go out there and do something. They're not going to come to you.
No, they're not, unless you're like trying to summon stuff and be, do weird stuff. It might get you in trouble.
Yeah. Well, most definitely, yeah.
Well, man, do you have a really scary story for us that might have really happened to you?
As I say, the scariest thing for me was being breathed on in the face.
Yeah.
But I've got a couple of investigations coming up. I've got 3 in the next week. So
cool.
Anything could happen there. I'm going out with me friends from Southeast Paranormal team and South London Investigates the Paranormal. There's the 2 teams that I work with. So we will be doing the Old Lamb Inn in Reading. So hopefully good things will be happening there.
Yeah, that's like on my bucket list.
Yeah, everyone's heard of that one, haven't they?
Yeah.
So But hopefully, yeah, that sounds like it's going to be. You
All
can
right.
cut that through, can't you?
Okay, yeah, I lost you there for a second. It was a bad connection, but you said you're going out in a couple of weeks.
Yep. Well, I would say I've got 3 investigations in the next week, and I'm out with the teams that I work with: South London Investigates Paranormal and Southeastern Paranormal team. So, yep, we've got a few investigations coming up, especially next year. We got the famous Hellfire Caves.
Oh, wow.
So a lot of paranormal is meant to happen there. So that's going to be a night of fun, running around in the dark.
Yeah, it's really fun. And I just, I love it. And I know people think I'm nuts, but I'm going to keep doing it. So.
I get strange looks when people ask me, what did you do at the weekend? I went out paranormal investigating. Excuse me, you did what? I get it all the time at work.
Yeah, I do too. People just expect it now. They don't, they just ignore me at this point. But I would, please keep me updated. I mean, you have my information, and if
I do
something really cool happens, or even if it doesn't, man, just give me a shout back. It's been fun talking.
Well, I'm always posting, so you always see something up there, and if anything extraordinary happens, then I shall let you know.
Oh, that sounds awesome. And maybe we can turn this into a whole international paranormal team or something, which I don't think they have one of those yet.
Sounds good. Well, no, not that I know of. I was just thinking if was there a Ghost Hunters International?
Oh, there was.
Damn, we've been beaten again.
Yeah, but it was kind of boring. Maybe we could do something a little different.
It was. Yeah, we'll just do a better version.
Yeah, I think the main guy got in trouble anyway with the law. I think. I'm not. Don't quote me on that. But no. If someone wanted to contact you, for an investigation over there, how would they do it? Or do you have a site or website or?
No, they just get me on Instagram, AJL_66. Find me there. You can message me. I'll always answer.
Okay. Well, man, I really appreciate you taking the time to come on with me. I know you're going to get back to watching your shows because you said you were going to be up late tonight.
Oh, yeah. From 9 till 1 a.m. It's paranormal on a Friday.
Yeah. And
so, yeah.
It's just now 4:00 here, so I got to figure out what I'm going to do for the weekend.
We're just coming up to 10:15 here. So.
Wow.
So it's all good.
Yeah. Well, man, thank you so much. It was great to meet you and finally talk to you. And
you're welcome.
Please feel free to contact me anytime with any stories or any questions or any answers, whatever.
Sure, I will do.
All right, man. Well, you take care. Have a great weekend, and we will talk soon. Yeah. We'll talk soon.
I got an investigation tomorrow night. I've just been invited to one, so but it's all hush hush at the moment. So.
Oh, all right. Well, good luck.
You have to find out tomorrow when I post some pictures.
I'll be watching for sure.
Okay then.
All right. Thanks, man. Have a great one.
You have a great weekend too.
All right.
Take care.
All right. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
And that was a wrap on this week's show. If you need to get in contact with him, and if you're over there in the UK and you would like a very professional paranormal investigator to reach out to you, follow him on Instagram, AJL_66. And remember, guys, over here, if you need anything, you can contact me at mysteriousHuntsman@gmail.com. Reach out to me with your stories. And you can also find me on my website, mysteriousHuntsman.com. All right, thanks, guys. Have a great week, and we will talk soon.